In Formula One, we've witnessed moments that transcended the checkered flag, from jaw-dropping displays of sportsmanship to acts of heroism that defy belief. These instances remind us why we fell in love with F1 in the first place. Throughout the sport's rich history, we've seen drivers push not just their cars to the limit, but their own humanity to new heights. These are the moments that don't just win races, they win hearts. Mercedes, a team known for its dominance on the track, showed us they're champions off the track as well. In a heartwarming gesture, Mercedes decided to make a fan's dream come true. But they didn't just give her tickets to a race or a signed cap. No, they went above and beyond. This lucky fan thought she was in for a normal day at the track. Little did she know, Mercedes had something extraordinary planned. They gave her a full VIP experience, complete with a garage tour, meet and greets with the drivers, and even a ride in a two-seater F1 car. But the real magic happened when they surprised her with a personalized message from Lewis Hamilton himself, inviting her to join the team on the grid before the race. The look of pure joy and disbelief on her face was priceless. The year was 2017, and we're witnessing one of the most intense title fights in recent memory between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Throughout the season, these two legends battled it out, pushing each other to the limit. It was a tough fight, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But in the end, it was Hamilton who clinched the championship. Now, losing a championship after such a hard-fought battle could easily bring out bitterness or resentment, but not for Vettel. In a display of pure class, the German driver approached Hamilton after the final race. Instead of sulking or making excuses, Vettel offered him a warm handshake and sincere congratulations to his rival. He even went on to praise Hamilton's performance throughout the season, acknowledging the Briton's skill and dedication. Alonso, a true legend of the sport, was competing in front of his home crowd. The pressure was immense. The expectations were sky high. Starting from P11, victory seemed like a distant dream, especially with formidable opponents like Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel ahead. But Alonso didn't give up. He pulled off a start that can only be described as magical, making overtake after overtake. The crowd was going wild with every position he gained. Before long, he found himself in P2, chasing the leader. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric. You could feel the hopes and dreams of an entire nation riding on Alonso's shoulders. And then, as if the racing gods themselves were smiling down on him, fortune turned in his favor. A series of events unfolded that put Alonso in the lead. Lap after lap, Alonso maintained his lead, fending off all challengers. The tension was palpable as the laps counted down. And then finally, after 57 laps of brilliant, inspired driving, Alonso took the checkered flag. The emotion that followed was incredible. Alonso, usually so composed, was overcome with joy. Tears were streaming down his face as he celebrated with his team and the adoring crowd. Now, let's shift gears to one of the most memorable moments in racing history, the incredible spin and win by Danny Sullivan in the Indianapolis 500. It was 1985 and Sullivan was having the race of his life. He was the quickest on the track, doing everything right, and looked set for victory. As he approached the leader, Mario Andretti, for an overtake, the crowd held their breath. But then, in a moment, Sullivan's car spun at full speed. It looked like his race was over. The commentators were in disbelief. The crowd gasped, and Sullivan himself must have thought his chances were gone. However, in a display of incredible car control and sheer luck, Sullivan managed to keep the car out of the walls. He regained control and rejoined the race, albeit further back in the field. But the story doesn't end there. About 20 laps later, Sullivan found himself once again challenging for the lead. This time, he made the pass stick, overtaking Andretti cleanly and going on to win the race. This extraordinary sequence of events, spinning out while attempting to overtake for the lead, saving the car, and then coming back to win, went down in history as the spin and win. Now, we come to perhaps the most beautiful and heroic moment in Formula One history. A moment that showcases not just sportsmanship, but true courage and humanity. The year was 1992, the Belgian Grand Prix. Eric Helmos was racing through the infamous Balchemont corner when disaster struck. His car collided with the barriers and a brutal impact leaving him unconscious in the cockpit. The situation was dire. Comas was knocked out, but his foot was still pressing hard on the throttle. The engine was screaming, fuel was pumping, and the risk of fire or explosion was increasing by the second. Senna was the next driver to come upon the scene. In a split-second decision that could have cost him his own life, Senna did something extraordinary. He stopped his car in the middle of the track, jumped out, and sprinted towards Comas' stricken vehicle. With no regard for his own safety, Senna reached into the cockpit, switched off the engine, and began administering first aid to Comas. Senna's quick thinking and brave actions likely saved Comas' life. By stopping the engine, he prevented a potential fire or explosion. By providing immediate assistance, he ensured Comas received help crucial minutes before the medical team arrived. Comas never forgot Senna's actions that day. He always credited Senna with saving his life. In a tragic twist of fate, when Senna had his final accident in Imola in 1994, Comas was one of the drivers who tried desperately to reach the scene to help, just as Senna had done for him. But fate's decision was different that day, taking Senna's life. Let's fast forward to a more recent display of sportsmanship that left the racing world in awe. It happened at the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix, involving Lewis Hamilton and his then teammate, Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton, in the thick of a tight championship battle, found himself behind Bottas on the track. The team made a tough call. They asked Bottas to let Hamilton through to challenge the leading Ferraris, with the promise that if Hamilton could make progress, he'd give the position back. Hamilton tried his best, but he couldn't catch the Ferraris. As they approached the final corner of the last lap, everyone expected Hamilton to keep his position. After all, every point counts in a championship fight. But Hamilton did something unexpected. He slowed down, allowing Bottas to overtake him and claim third place. Hamilton willingly gave up 3 crucial championship points in an act of fairness and respect for his teammate and the team's promise. This selfless act spoke volumes about Hamilton's character. In a sport where self-interest often prevails, Hamilton showed that integrity and team spirit still have a place in the highest level of racing. During the 1976 Dutch Grand Prix, were the actions of a fellow driver and highlighted the camaraderie that exists within the F1 community. Roger Williamson, a young and promising driver, suffered a horrific crash during the race. His car burst into flames and he was trapped inside. As the flames grew and the situation became more dire, one man didn't hesitate to act: David Perlet. Perlet stopped his car, jumped out, and ran towards the burning wreckage. Despite the intense heat and the danger to his own life, he tried desperately to save Williamson, even as the marshals hesitated due to the lack of proper fire-resisting gear. Perlet's actions were nothing short of heroic. He fought against the flames using every ounce of his strength to try and overturn the car. Unfortunately, Williamson couldn't be saved, but Perlet's bravery did not go unnoticed. He was awarded the George Medal for his gallantry, and his actions remain one of the most courageous acts in Formula One history. As we near the end of our journey through F1's most beautiful moments, we can't forget the touching farewell given to Sebastian Vettel at his final race in 2022. Vettel, a 4-time world champion and one of the most respected figures in the sport, had announced his retirement. His last race was set to be an emotional affair, but his fellow drivers and the entire F1 community made sure it was truly special. Before the race, all the drivers gathered for a group dinner in Vettel's honor, a rare show of unity and respect. On race day, they organized a track run with Vettel, joined by team members and F1 personnel. The sight of the entire F1 fraternity jogging down the track, led by Vettel, was both touching and symbolic. But the gestures didn't stop there. In a beautiful moment before the race, all drivers lined up to form a guard of honor for Vettel. It was a powerful image, competitors setting aside rivalry to honor one of their own. Perhaps the most heartwarming detail came to light later. Fernando Alonso, one of Vettel's fiercest rivals over the years, revealed that he deliberately didn't attack Vettel at the start of the race. "I just wanted to do a few laps behind him and enjoy," Alonso said in a touching display of respect. These gestures, the dinner, the track run, the guard of honor, and the on-track respect, created a beautiful send-off for a legend of the sport. What do you think about these beautiful moments in F1 history? Which one touched you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.